Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to plunge right into complex topics and pull out those insights that, well, maybe surprise you a little.
Or maybe a lot.
Exactly. Today, we're navigating the really intricate, often hidden world of Israel's dealings with Iran and other key players in the Middle East. Our mission, if you like, for this deep dive, it's to extract those unexpected stories about covert ops, shifting alliances.
And that whole high-stakes game of regional power, it shapes so much.
It really does.
And our source material today, these excerpts from Target Tehran, they give us a really unique look, don't they?
Yeah.
Into this landscape where, trust is built so painstakingly, sometimes over decades.
Yeah.
And conflict, well, it takes so many forms. Cyber stuff, direct sabotage.
It's not just one thing.
Not at all. We're going to try and uncover some connections that maybe you wouldn't immediately think of.
Okay, let's jump right in then. There's this one anecdote that really kicks things off, I think.
The Pompeo call.
Yeah. So picture Mike Pompeo, he's Secretary of State at the time, gets this call. It's from Yossi at Mossad. Right. And the voice is calm, serious. Says something like, Mike, we just had a team finish a really important mission.
Okay.
And now I'm having a bit of trouble getting some of them out. Can I get your help?
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that. Pompeo said, whenever Yossi called, he just took the call, no questions.
That implies a pretty deep level of trust already, doesn't it?
Totally. And his team, they swing into action immediately, all across the world, connecting with Yossi's people.
And the result?
Within 24 hours, remarkably, they'd guided those Mossad agents to safe houses.
That's incredible. It's not just a story, is it? It really shows that that deep, almost unspoken reliance between allies sometimes.
Yeah, where normal diplomacy just isn't fast enough.
Exactly. It's immediate, high-stakes, operational stuff.
Oh.
And what's fascinating is how that kind of cooperation it can bring in groups you might not expect.
You mean like the MEK, the Mujahedi Hekal.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, reading about their supposed involvement, that was surprising.
It is surprising.
I mean, this is a group, like the sources point out, that the U.S., the EU, they designated them a terrorist organization for a while.
That's right.
So how on earth did they end up, in the mix?
What's really complex, despite that status, they reportedly got special forces training right here in the U.S.
Seriously?
Yeah. And the book mentions this 2012 NBC News report. It quoted senior Obama administration officials. They alleged the MEE had a role in Mossad's assassination of at least 5 Iranian nuclear scientists.
Wow. Okay.
And according to that report, these MEK units were financed and trained by Mossad.
Right.
The contacts were apparently maintained by Mossad's Tebel division. That's the specific branch that liaises with countries where Israel doesn't have formal diplomatic ties.
So using a controversial group, even one previously labeled terrorist, becomes a tool in the toolbox.
It seems so. It really highlights how states like Israel might use non-state actors, even ones with, let's say, complicated pasts, for these high-stakes goals where direct action is impossible. It definitely blurs the lines, doesn't it?
It really does, between, state action and something else entirely.
Asymmetric operations, essentially.
It's kind of wild, but thinking about these unconventional methods...
Yeah?
Did the sources point to anything even more unexpected? Something, totally outside the usual intelligence playbook?
Absolutely. Maybe even more surprising, actually. The sources suggest something, frankly, illicit played a role.
Illicit? How so?
Drug trade.
The drug trade, seriously.
Yeah. Intelligence sources that were interviewed for the book, they indicated that the pretty substantial drug trade across the Iran-Azerbaijan border was actually crucial for the success of one particular operation.
That's staggering. So it's not just a metaphor like an illicit backbone, it's literal.
It seems that way for this instance, yes. It gives you this glimpse into the darker side of covert ops, how state actors might, maybe inadvertently, maybe deliberately, use existing criminal networks for their own ends.
It blurs even more lines then. Intel, crime, geopolitics, all mixed up. And you have to think about the unintended consequences too, right? Azerbaijan, it's on a major route from Afghanistan.
Which produces, 90% of the world's opium, the book notes?
Right. And it's not just Afghan heroin crossing that border, it's also shishe.
The high-purity crystal meth.
Made in Iran itself. And the book mentions Iran has a huge drug problem of its own.
Yeah. It's a grim picture. And if we sort of pull back to the bigger picture, you have to understand the massive shift that created this environment in the first place.
You mean the revolution?
Exactly. Go back to February 1979, the Islamic Revolution. The Shah's regime is gone, And who's the first foreign leader to visit the new Iran? Yasser Arafat, the PLO leader.
Right, I remember reading that.
We go straight to the old Israeli embassy building in Tehran. It's already got Viva PLO graffiti on it.
Wow.
He stands on the balcony, Palestinian flag next to him, and makes this pledge to the crowd. Today, Iran. Tomorrow, Palestine.
Talk about a symbolic moment. That just perfectly captures the complete reversal in Iran-Israel relations, doesn't it?
Utterly. From allies under the Shah to sworn enemies almost overnight.
And that shift, it leads directly to the nuclear issue we're still dealing with and the extreme danger faced by Iranian scientists involved in the program.
Absolutely.
The sources detail this attempted attack on Dr. Feridun Abbasi Davani. He was a nuclear engineering professor, part of the same team as other key figures like Fakhrizadeh and Mohammadi, big names in the program.
And the attack.
A car bomb.
Wow.
In Tehran's affluent Velinjak district near the university.
But he survived.
Yeah, narrowly. Eyewitnesses said he pulled his car over, and he and his wife just scrambled out seconds before it exploded.
Incredible.
Both got away with light wounds, apparently. A very close call.
The danger is just palpable, isn't it? Which underscores why regional alliances became so critical, especially against shared threats. And that brings us to the Israel-UAE relationship, which is complex and actually goes back way further than many people think.
Yeah, not just the Abraham Accords.
Not at all. Back to the early 90s, actually, after the Oslo Accords. The Emiratis, they were already worried about Iran, even back then. They wanted to buy F-16s from the Clinton administration.
Okay.
But that needed Israel, specifically Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin's government, to lift its objections. Selling advanced jets like that to another Middle East state was a big deal.
So how did they manage that?
Well, the Emiratis apparently used connections they already had with Mossad to set up a meeting in Geneva. It was between Rabin's bureau chief, Shimon Sheaves, and Mohammed bin Zayed MBZ, the man who'd later lead the Emirates.
And Rabin agreed.
Yes, he okayed the F-16 sale, and that laid some groundwork, a foundation of sort of mutual trust.
But it wasn't exactly smooth sailing from there, was it? The sources talk about a sense of insult the UAE felt later on.
That's right. Trust had to be rebuilt very gradually, starting around, say, 2011.
What drove that rebuilding?
Common interests, really. Things that started to outweigh the old grievances, the shared fear of Iran, obviously.
That seems key.
Definitely. Plus, Iran getting more involved in the Syrian civil war, the general instability from the Arab Spring, it all pushed them closer. Mossad officials held, countless meetings, apparently. But full contacts weren't really back until around 2015.
And even then, MBZ himself was unavailable for a while, kept his distance.
For a period, yes. And there's this interesting cultural point one source made.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing takes longer than gaining the trust of Bedouins, and nothing is more sensitive than the honor of the Bedouins.
So regaining that trust, it came at a cost for Israel.
It did. They had to pay a price, essentially. There was this commitment, brokered by the Americans, to never conduct similar operations on UAE soil again.
Okay, that's significant.
And beyond that, Israel offered what the book calls strategic remuneration. Basically, a package of new technologies, new systems that they hadn't shared before.
So it wasn't just words, it was concrete actions, tech sharing.
Exactly, showing a deep commitment to that relationship.
And things really seemed to speed up in 2022, didn't they?
Massively, yeah. In January and February of that year, the UAE got hit, at least 3 times. Drones, ballistic missiles, fired by the Iranian-backed Houthis in Yemen.
And wasn't there an incident during President Herzog's visit?
That's right. An incoming missile was intercepted while Herzog was actually in Abu Dhabi for the first ever official visit by an Israeli president.
Talk about timing.
Couldn't be starker. And that led immediately to the UAE stepping up requests for detection systems, early warning, defense tech from Israel.
Which Israel provided quickly, I assume.
Very quickly, yes.
Yeah.
Which, brings us to the wider chessboard. The leaders making the moves.
Like the shift in Iran.
Exactly.
Yeah.
June 2021, the election of Ibrahim Raisi, a real hardliner.
Yeah, charged with crimes against humanity by rights groups, the sources note.
Correct. He took over from Hassan Rouhani, who was seen as, somewhat more moderate, relatively speaking.
And the impact.
Pretty much what you'd expect. Iran took on more aggressive postures, whether that was backing terrorism, its stance in nuclear talks, or really ramping up cyber warfare attacks. More sophisticated, more damaging.
And it wasn't just Iran's leadership changing the dynamic. The sources mention how Israeli officials viewed different U.S. administrations, right?
Yes, there's a bit on that. Officials like Meir Ben Shabbat, who was head of the National Security Council, they were apparently slightly less worried about the incoming Biden administration compared to how they felt about the Obama administration.
Why was that?
Their view, as reported, was that the Obama team simply refused to recognize the holes in the deal it negotiated, meaning the Iran nuclear deal, the JCPOA.
Right. So there was this question mark over whether Biden would continue Trump's maximum pressure campaign or pivot back somehow.
Precisely. And that links into strategic capabilities, too. Especially when you're talking about hitting really tough targets.
Like Fordo.
The underground enrichment facility.
Exactly. Its main chamber is believed to be buried, 80 meters down?
That's deep. Very deep. And according to the sources, only one weapon could really guarantee reducing it to rubble. The American 30,000-pound bunker buster bomb.
But the U.S. never gave those to Israel.
Never. So Israel apparently developed an alternative strategy, relying on repeat strikes.
Yeah.
One bomb makes a crater, the next ones hit the same spot, digging deeper and deeper. The idea isn't necessarily total obliteration down at 80 meters. It's to effectively switch off the facility. By blocking its power supply, burying the entrances and exits under debris, basically rendering it inoperable, even if the main chamber isn't vaporized.
So disablement rather than destruction.
That seems to be the thinking, yes. A pragmatic approach given the limitations.
So after digging through all this, what does it all mean for you listening in? We've covered these, frankly, fascinating complexities. Covert missions, the drug trade playing a role, which is just mind-blowing. And this incredibly slow, fragile process of building trust and diplomacy internationally.
It really shows how global power is shaped by things you just don't see, things happening in the shadows.
It does.
And it should make you think about how all these dynamics, the history we talked about, the ongoing tensions, how they don't just affect the Middle East, they ripple outwards, affecting global security, too. It's this constant game of chess, isn't it? Reevaluating threats, shifting alliances, reacting to new leaders, new crises.
It never really stops. Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe something for you to chew on.
Go on.
Given the complex, sometimes bizarre ways alliances and methods have formed in the past, like we've just discussed, what new, unexpected partnerships, or maybe even stranger methods, might be forming right now, out of sight? What surprising answers are being cooked up for tomorrow's challenges that we can't even foresee yet?